topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Camping Show. I'm C.W. Getz.
And I'm Jessie Meany.
Good evening. It is Wednesday, October 19th, 2022, and we have I'm going to go with balmy. Maybe I shouldn't, but it is 46 degrees. It's sunny, but it's just kind of, I don't know, and it's kind of a little humid out.
It looks nicer than it really is out there.
Yeah.
I'll say that. You see the sun shining, but it's a trick.
Very true.
Don't fall for it.
Very true. It does. In fact, that is so true. You know, I think this weekend we're supposed to have some really warm temps, am I right? Because I'm planning on a hike.
I think tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? We're going to go. Okay, good.
I think, I try to follow it, but, it's always up and down, back and forth.
It is. And this time of year, it can change kind of fast. So
right. I mean, once the, fall stepped in, summer like totally stepped out.
That was almost instant.
It was like it struck midnight and summer turned into a pumpkin. It was crazy.
I think that's true. In fact, I woke up going, I don't like this too much.
I know.
And I notice every morning my bedroom's got curtains, so like a little open. And I'm going, it's still, it's still early. It's dark, but it's not.
Right.
It's getting darker. It's getting lighter later. Lighter later. Say that 5 times fast.
Lighter later, darker earlier.
Yeah.
All the stuff.
I don't really, that's just not my favorite time of year. Anyway, so I'll be going to this event this weekend. And then after the event, I'm going to do a little hiking next door, so to speak. So we'll talk about that event in a little bit here.
All right.
Well, tonight's episode of the Camping Show is brought to you by Campground Views, making camping easier.
Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water.
Tonight's episode is Bianca and Kyle, the outdoors, the bond, and the wedding. With our special guest, Bianca Cahue, and who was supposed to be here, but is MIA, her fiance, Kyle Fogle. Can you tell us a little bit? Well, wait a minute. We don't have that introduction. Someone's PR, what do you call that? PR agent didn't send it to us, so we didn't get it. But anyway, welcome to the show, Bianca.
Welcome.
That slacker, man. I don't know. Probably should be fired. Probably doesn't know what they're doing at all.
Those publicists, man, you can never rely on them.
You can. You tell them one thing and then they do the exact opposite.
How are you doing over there? How was your day?
Busy. I have the day off, but I mean, I've just been kind of running around doing odds and ends, tying some last minute things together. And it's been pretty crazy.
First of all, I want to know about what is this about spray painting your fingernails? How does that work?
So I have these like, I don't know what you call them, like planters.
Oh,
you
nice.
see those?
Oh.
I was just out back.
Wow.
Spray painting them because they were completely rusted. I got them at the Burgoo Fest in Utica a couple weekends ago.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God, that would be so nice for just the sides of the altar with some mums in it. But now I'm thinking like the mums that I got are too small. And I'm just like, I overthink stuff. And like, I'm such a perfectionist with things. And it's like, it's not good. It's not a good situation.
I think it's going to be fine.
I think so.
Let me ask you a question. Big rock star like you, couldn't you hire that done? Or, do you have to do all this?
Yes, but because I'm such a perfectionist, I have grown to live with the mantra, it's better to do things yourself than have anybody do it for you, because those people mess it up. I don't mess it up.
I echo your thought.
It's a tried and true way of living for me, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because if I mess it up, then it's on me. And so it's like, then I don't have to be mad at anybody,
That's probably why you're my co-host, because we have that exactly the same. And there are other things too. So same.
Yeah. And then that's like the anxiety of like trusting that person too. Like, are they doing it right? See, like
Jesse, are you like that, or is it just us?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I've been there, done that, working through it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
learning to trust people. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I actually help people do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And here's the thing too, is everybody likes that better because then they don't get blamed. So,
Yeah.
nobody's,
No finger
Exactly.
pointing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It retains friendships, or yeah.
Something
What do
like
I
that.
know?
Yeah.
Hey,
Relationships.
absolutely. Well, first we want to let everyone know that Bianca and Kyle will be getting married this Saturday, and everyone is invited, as I understand it.
Da-dum,
This is a
da-dum.
worldwide invitation. Yes.
I invited Michael Bublé, but I didn't get a response back.
Well, and here's the thing, people, if you can find it, you can attend, right? So we're
Thank
just
you,
leaving them
Camper
in.
69. I appreciate the well wishes.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I'm missing the comments here. Um, let's see here. But first of all, say, hey, Camper 69, I hope that I did you guys a service last night on Canoe Hound's outdoor adventure show. And it was a lot of fun being there. And thank you, Dennis, for having me.
Nice.
Hello back there. How you doing? First of all, tell us how you both met, and then how you began adventuring outdoors together. How'd that whole thing start?
Okay. So we met, well, we didn't formally meet. He didn't introduce himself, but we were at the same event in 2015, just about the beginning of the fall. I would say probably a little bit right around this time, maybe a little bit earlier. And it was an event. The American Brain Tumor Association was there. It was at downtown Chicago at the Vertigo Sky Lounge. I was an MC at the time for a webcast, kind of like this here.
Yeah.
And just doing some red carpet interviews, doing some, just some hostess things, and a couple different podcast radio stations were there. Just kind of like a red carpet thing. And then there was a fundraiser too, because they were raising money to benefit the Brain Tumor Association as well as the family. For the event, it was an international model who died of a brain tumor. So there were a lot of magazine editors there, lots of colleagues, lots of models. And at the event was a bikini contest, and it was a part of the fundraiser. And Kyle was a model panel judge. He was a part of an organization as well that it was all about suicide prevention. So he did that for a long time, and then through that he began his modeling. He did runway, he walked in LA Fashion Week, he did some print. So he had a very successful stint in Chicago at the time with modeling. So I saw him there. In a nutshell, he caught my eye. He was wearing something really freaking ridiculous, but one of his designers, he says to this day, but coincidentally and ironically, his style really hasn't changed much since. So I don't know how you explain that one. But
Yeah.
So we networked, and I was just really eager. 20 years old at the time. One of my first gigs, fresh into college, studying broadcast. Just really wanted to get my foot in the door. So that was kind of my first real, live event type of gig. And like I said, networking on social media, met all these people there. And so like on Facebook, people you may know, Kyle popped up, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember him, like I'll be his friend, and right even before like
Sure,
the
you will. You'll be his wife, is what you were thinking.
yeah,
Right?
I know, right? Like, oh, I know what I'm doing. No.
It's amazing what Facebook does for people.
Right.
I'm telling you, yeah. So he right before he even accepted my friend request, he messaged me right away, like, "Who is this? Who are you?" But back then, he told me like he knew. He saw me too. He noticed me at the event, so like he was kind of playing dumb, like, "Why do you want to be my friend?" And I'm just like, "Hey, I'm Bianca, just networking. I saw you at the event. Cool. I see you're a model, and yada yada." But we talked for several months after that over the phone, back and forth, until we decided it was finally time for a date. I'll speed this up because it is a really kind of long, like how we first met story.
You got 2 hours left, man. We
I
can tell
know.
the whole thing.
All right, I'll keep
We have
this
an
easy for
extended
you.
show for you tonight, man. That's all.
Yeah, I'll keep this really easy
You're
for
all
you
good.
guys and
You're
just
good.
keep going.
This
But
is what it's about, man. It's about you. It's all about you tonight.
So he's about 100 miles southwestish from Chicago, Starved Rock State Park area where we currently are. And so he's telling me, Bianca, I'm out the door. I'm ready to go. I'm going to pick you up. And like, I guess literally right as he's off the door, I texted him at the time saying, hey, don't leave. I got caught up babysitting. I have younger sisters, but they weren't at the time, they were kind of younger. So I felt like it was a valid excuse. But I told him I was babysitting, and it was kind of like my way of just kind of freaking out and just being nervous. And like I said, I had talked to him for several months, and I just kind of knew this guy was real deal. I'd never really involved myself with like I guess like you could say a real man. I've always just I was 20, like I said, 20 at the time. He was 28. Just I knew what he was about, just it kind of freaked me out, and I knew I wasn't ready for that step. So, I lied to him, I stood him up, but then, we talked after, and he's like, hey, I'm not mad, you just need to let me know if you're not ready. And so
Well, who knows
wasn't
what the
ready.
hell they're doing when they're 20 years old anyway,
I
honestly.
know, and I had gotten out of a bad relationship a couple years back, and so I was just like, am I ready to get back on this horse? Because I don't want to start something I can't finish. So that was kind of my main thing. And at the time I was feeling like, gosh, like I cannot hurt this guy. So, I decided to just drop it. I wasn't ready. He respected my decision, remained friends on social media, Facebook. At the time I had Instagram. I was all over the place, Snapchat, just kind of getting into things. I myself was doing a little bit of modeling here and there in college. So I had a very big social media presence. And fast forward a year later, my 21st birthday.
Let me
I was with
interrupt you there for a
some
second.
friends.
I have to tell you something. I wish more women had your mindset. I can't hurt this guy. I don't want to finish or start something I can't finish. I think that's very noble. And it's too bad more people, not just women, but men too. I think that a lot of people could benefit from having such an attitude like that.
Yeah,
Kudos
definitely.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, at that time I was like, I'm ready to have something serious when the time comes. And so I just kind of put it on back burner. Like I said, still, freshly about to be 21. So I'm like, it just doesn't make sense for me right now. So fast forward my 21st birthday, Hollywood Beach, Florida. It's about a stretch of about 2 miles, a beautiful beach in Florida. And, very famous, gorgeous boardwalk. I was just with my friends, just living it up, Bud Light Platinums, bikinis, just crazy.
I got a good picture going on there.
That I had my friends being like my photographer. Like we were just like, oh my God.
There's no alcohol involved though, right?
Oh, when
Of
there's
course not.
alcohol
No,
involved,
we wouldn't do
like, I'm
love it.
feeling myself. I'm on the beach. I'm being flawny and just like scrolling through like my Snapchat feed and yada, yada, yada. And I look and I see, and I don't even know if I saw whose Snapchat it was at the time, but like I saw beach and everything, and I'm just scrolling through and I was just like, why does this look like where I'm at right now? And I saw, and it's Kyle, and
wow.
I'm like, no way. I'm like,
He's
is he
where you are.
at this beach? Like we could be yards away from each other. And I'm like,
wow.
woo, I'm feeling myself. It's my birthday. I'm in my thong bikini, liquid confidence. Like this is going down. Like, and so I saw his Snapchats too. Like he looked like he was having fun. I was like, Snapchatting back. Where are you at? Where are you at? And like I'm here, like I'm at Hollywood Beach, Florida, like you're at the same place. And he's like, yeah, I'm here too, yada yada. And
How
I'm
does
so
that
like,
work out, man? That's crazy.
yeah, so like let's meet up. Oh my God, this is crazy, and let's hang out or whatever. I don't even know what I was thinking at the time, because I know for a
Maybe
fact
Jack Daniels was thinking for you, maybe.
I
Right?
was I know I was drunk. And like, so I
No,
probably
yeah.
would have made like a complete, thinking back now, I probably would have made a complete fool of myself. So let's go back.
God was
So
on your
he's
side
like,
that day.
he responds back to me saying this: I'm here with a wedding party for the weekend. I don't have time to say hi to you.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Wow. Yeah.
If you're serious about seeing me and saying hi to me, you'll go back out on that date with me when we get back home.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was like my ego was just completely busted,
That just killed
you
your
know? And
buzz,
so I
didn't
was
it?
like, "Oh,
You know,
such a buzzkill," you know?
yeah, yeah.
And but it ended up working out because obviously I agreed and I said, "Okay, you know, like definitely
You
like I
hung in
think
there.
this is
Yeah, because
fine."
most women
You
would
know,
have said, "Yeah, screw you. I'm done. That forget it. You're not, don't worry, jerk." No, I'm
I
just
don't
kidding.
know, like he just I kind of like his Snapchat, just what he was doing, where he was at, he was with all these people. It kind of like I guess I had these like back then I had these predispositions about him. And when I saw him in his element, it made me a lot more comfortable. Because
Oh,
like I said, when I would talk to him on the phone, he was just very articulate with his words. And, you know, I am too, I'm a broadcast major, but like him, he was like, wow, this guy's a teacher. Like I was intimidated by him.
oh,
So when I was seeing his Snapchat and seeing him kind of live it up on the beach, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I want to hang out with him.
yeah.
And so that's kind of what sparked it. And so we went on that date when we got back home, and we saw each other every single weekend for about 2 years straight until
Wow.
we decided to move in with each other.
Wow. That's pretty dang cool. You know what? I've heard part of that story, but I didn't hear the whole thing, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. That's very cool, Jeff. Or very cool, Bianca.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you guys begin your outdoor adventuring together? I'm curious about that. Like what sparked that?
Okay, so that was Kyle's thing. Kyle's thing has always been the outdoors. He was born and raised in Putnam County, and it has about one stop sign. It doesn't even have a stoplight. One stop sign in the entire, well, in McNabb, not Putnam County. I'm sorry, but
I
Putnam
grew up in
County
McNabb.
is very very small. McNabb, it's got one stop sign, not a stoplight in town. Like very very country. They have very close to Starved Rock and Matheson, Buffalo Rock State Park, and so he's just live and breathe it. And, you know, he was always just been in tune with the outdoors. He's got this massive green thumb. He can pretty much grow just about anything. He loves flowers, just a huge horticulturist. And so he's got this deep connection with the outdoors. And so he introduced me during a couple of trips to Colorado, and I absolutely fell in love with I'm a very physical person too. And so was never actually a hiker before. And so he started me off with Starved Rock, Matheson, went on plenty of hikes. But I believe our first camping trip, if I can recall, was in Colorado, which was not bad. It
Yeah.
wasn't, because I think the conditions, and I've been camping before when I was little and things like that, but the conditions were just great for me. It was like almost like glamping. You know, it had the beautiful bathrooms, beautiful showers,
Oh, wow.
like zero mosquitoes, like very dry, like clay dirt. So
Yeah.
it wasn't even like dirt. It's like you'll see it in the pictures. It's very orange and rich. It's gorgeous.
So
It's
basically, he spoiled you your first camping trip, is
he,
what you say.
well, I wouldn't say that. I would not say that, because we shared a single person tent.
Oh, wow.
Like we were like
Which
smushed
probably didn't
in the
bother you
tent
at all,
together,
I'm
but he
sure, right?
probably did that on purpose.
You think?
That's good planning.
We need to ask him these things. I think that's great stuff to
Like,
bring up
I'm
your wedding.
literally telling
By
you,
the
we
way,
were in CW, like one of those little triangle, like
yeah,
the long little triangle
the
tents.
tubes?
The
Oh, wow.
tubes, yes.
Wow. I think that was
Yeah,
staged. I really do think that was staged.
I think so too. I think so too.
I'm gonna
But
vote
he's
for
a
that.
little cheapo, so I think that was not staged at this, because then I said something like, because when we go, and I think we used that tent just about like one more time after that, until I was like, I felt comfortable enough to be like, can we get a bigger tent?
Well, maybe that was the only tent he had, maybe, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, wait a minute. Are you being sarcastic? You think he had more? He just chose that one?
I have to fact check him on that, but he had built out another tent, and either he got it from his parents or he had.
Yeah.
I feel like he had access to that one. He just didn't try.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If he did, I mean, that's what his plan was. It worked, I'd say,
Kinda
right?
smart.
Yeah. I could never
Right.
sleep that close. I have trouble sleeping I have to have a bigger tent. If there's 2 people, I have to have like not just a
Yeah,
3-person,
I
but a
know.
4-person or 6
But
or
it
something.
was
You
really
need to be
nice
able to move
because it
around.
was
Gotta
chilly.
stretch out.
You know, nights were chilly, so that was
Oh.
the plus.
Well, they do make sleeping bags for that purpose.
Yeah,
What do
but
you
a
guys doing? I
human
mean, were
with,
you
you know, that
sleeping in your
body
skivvies or?
warmth,
Oh, well, there is
can't
that.
compare.
That's true. That's true. Well, I don't like that though. I can't. If you're hot, get away from me. Like, furnace. Get away. That's really good. Did I mention I'm single? Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love
Yeah,
it
right?
though.
Oh man. Well, let me ask you this then. Who decides where you guys go? I mean, if only one of you really wants to go to a specific destination, do you accommodate one another, or is it always a mutual decision where you go? I mean, like, okay, well, you want to go here, we'll go here this time. Next time we'll go where I want to go, or do you guys just decide that together where you both want to go? How's that work?
Kyle is the type of person where he'll plan a trip, but when we get there, he wants to figure it out then and there
Okay.
also. So if there's something that I really want to do, absolutely we'll do it. But it's something that I usually like to say ahead of time. So once we're there, I'm like, hey, I saw this place. I'm big on research. I did this, you know, so we got to go here and you know, we'll probably do that. But usually I kind of roll with it. I trust him most of the time where we're going. And I have a story for one of
You're
your
not a complete fool.
about
He's like, yeah, always.
an adventurous story that was significant in strengthening your relationship.
Yeah,
Be
that's cool.
prepared for that one.
All right, man.
But usually, and after that situation, I've kind of learned to trust my own intuition. But he knows what he's doing. He's outdoorsy, and so I'm just kind of along for the ride, and I just love every part of it. So
Very
I'm
cool.
not I'm not too difficult to please when it comes to things like that, especially when we're talking about camping in Estes Park, you know, Rocky Mountains. It's just, you know, any trail you go on has its own unique just beauty to it. So you can't really complain at the end of the day. There's so much to see too.
I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
something. I share something with you. You were a good girlfriend. I had one once that didn't matter where we went. There was always a problem with it. So she's not around anymore either. So it's all good. And I'm not mentioning any names, but just saying.
Yeah, I'm sure she carried those problems back with her.
Yeah, you know.
So let's circle back to the story that was significant to strengthening your relationship. I want to hear about that.
Okay, so this will probably be the story because I don't want to get into another situation like this. I feel like we're strong enough, but it was
We're strong enough.
yeah, no, seriously. The last time I believe it was the last time we were in Colorado, which was a couple years ago. We've just haven't had time to make those trips. So it's been since the pandemic, so a couple years ago. We usually go around the same time. It's right before Kyle starts classes again for the fall, kind of around the time that they have Sturgis in the Dakotas. So we kind of have done like a double dip where we'll go to the Dakotas, we'll go to the Sturgis Fest, and we ride the motorcycle too. He'll take the motorcycle in the back of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and we'll just once we're there, we get off, pack our stuff, and it's all motorcycle from there, and it's pretty cool. But we decided to do. It was later in the day. I remember this, so it had to have been about 3 o'clock at the earliest, and it was really warm. You know, at the time it was about. I think this was late. I think it was late August. I think that's when Sturgis says, correct me. It could be late August. I can't remember which one. But it's still a little bit warm once you get in the mountains. It's freezing. It could be snowing up there. And but there are some places where we just found some natural springs, and they're beautiful, like not up high in the mountains, but like the rocky part right in the beginning of kind of the trails, or we just saw these places where like just like you can get out and swim. And that's really what I wanted to do that day. I just wanted to have like a little mini hike and stop at this place and just swim. I'm not sure if I included a picture, but I took a picture of these places where it's just gorgeous. The water is flowing and it's got these big boulders that are making these like natural ponds in the river where you can just like dunk yourself in and just chill the whole day. Just have yourself a little chill day up there. And Kyle was like, I really want to do this hike. It was 8 miles going and 8 miles back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was about it was 3:00 already. I had these feelings and, like, I'm like, he knows what he's doing. I don't think it's a good idea. I wanted to stay. I think we were only about a mile, 2 miles in, and that's where kind of where the water, the river flowing area was. And so it's like, let's just, like park it here. The day's pretty much over. And he wanted to do this. So I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And it's 8 miles there, 8 miles back. And he's like, there's this beautiful place. And at the, at the top and there's a huge, like, there's these springs or not springs, but this river up in the mountains I'm sorry, not river, lake up in the mountains. And, just a beautiful, just site, just a drop off site. Yeah. And so we're getting there and we're only about halfway up, halfway going. And I have these hiking shoes that my mother-in-law had gotten me. I was about like a size too small. And at the time I thought, not a problem. I've always just roughed it up in like shoe sizes that were just too small. It's fine. I'll be fine. Not a big deal. I just scrunch my little toes the whole time.
That never works out for me, ever. Didn't work for you
By
either.
the time we had made it up, mind you, the lake and everything, definitely overrated. And by that time I was just pissed. I was pissed. My feet, oh my God, my feet were just swelled up. I had to take off my shoes because I'd rather walk back 8 miles down in socks than have those shoes on. It was so painful. I was bleeding. I had blisters. I had everything. So once we were there at the top by our site, I tied the shoelaces together, threw them on my back, and I walked 8 miles back down barefoot in socks that were just soaked because, it was just moist. But that wasn't the terrible part of it because halfway back, by the time we had gotten there, the sun was setting.
Yeah.
The sun was setting already. So we still had an 8 miles back. I think we hiked about half of that, about 4 miles in the pitch black.
Wow.
And by that time I was sobbing because my feet were hurting. It was pitch black. We couldn't use our flashlights because when your eyes are already trained to see in the natural dark and you're shining a light, it makes it worse.
Oh yeah.
It makes it completely worse. So you're shining this light like literally to where your feet are. And everything else looks even darker. So it's even scarier. So we couldn't turn on our flashlights. We couldn't do anything. I'm hearing rustling in the trees, things like that. I'm thinking there's freaking mountain lions, there's bears. I am sobbing and I'm like, we're never doing this again. I can't believe you did this to me. We're not going to make it down. We're going to die. And my feet are just roughed up. They're soaked. I'm in these socks. My shoes are, oh my God, it was the worst experience. And Kyle was just like, Bianca, we're going to do this. You got this. You're going to make it. And he was piggybacking. He was like giving me piggyback rides a couple times here and there, but I was on foot the majority of the time, about 90% of the time. Cause it's not like he could piggyback me down, down the mountain the entire time. It's impossible. So I was literally in these very thin, I don't know why I didn't. It wasn't even like athletic, thick hiking socks. Very, very thin ankle socks. Oh my God. And it was just the worst time. And like I said, it really strengthened our relationship because we told ourselves like if we don't make it out of this, like we're just done. We're done. It was fighting. We were fighting in the dark. Kyle, there were many of times going down that trail where Kyle didn't actually know where he was going.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
so
no.
I was crying. We were to a point, we were like so hysterical. We started to sing because we didn't know what else to do. He's like, let's just start singing. So we just started singing. We started singing songs, like anything to just make it just the slightest bit better of an experience for us. But I mean, yeah, it was an absolutely terrible experience. We know what to do. We know not to start 16-mile hikes well, he knows better, and that's
Lesson
the thing. Like,
learned, right? Yeah.
you knew better. I knew, and I'm not an outdoorsy person, but I knew because like I'm have like that common sense. Kyle's very book smart. I'm very street smart. I'm like,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel right to me. I don't think we should be doing this right now. And he's just like, no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And but it was a wild, wild ride because I was just convinced we weren't going to make it down, and we had to just rough it up and stay out there the night because it was just that dark. And like I said, there were points in time Kyle didn't know where he was going, and we tried our fastest to get down to just cover a certain amount of distance before the sun went down, and still we couldn't. And when that sun went down, I lost it.
Yeah.
I literally thought the world was ending when that sun went down
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, at
because
least you learned from your experiences,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. So a lot to learn, but we made the most of it, and he got me through it. He motivated me and things like that. But yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
crazy.
very
That's
cool.
awesome. Well, we have a lot to still go through with you. I have some things I'm curious about still, but we're going to go to break. Don't go away. We'll be back with more of the camping show on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV after these messages.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutobaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on the camping show.
And we're back with our very own Bianca Cahue here on the camping show. Juan, we've got some photos that Bianca sent us. Let's have you put those up for us if we could. And we'll have her tell us a little bit about it. There we go. What are we looking at here?
That would be the first Colorado trip. And so I just took a little selfie on the motorcycle. I think we were stopped, so we were not going. But
It's been done
yeah,
now.
I love it. I have my hiking book bag and everything strapped in, and it was, it was hot. I have my little sports bra on, and I just loving it. It was just such an experience. I'd never done anything like that in my life, so it was just awesome. I'll never forget
Cool.
those camping trips.
Hey.
That that was our
Who is
very
that?
last. That was the last time we were. I believe we were in the Dakotas at that point. We were visiting Sturgis, but we stopped, and it was Smokey Bear's 75th birthday.
Oh,
So
wow.
of course, I had to get a birthday selfie with him. And as you can see, my T-shirt is also Smokey Bear.
Smokey, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, I noticed you didn't say Smokey the Bear, which people do that all the time, but it's Smokey Bear. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah. You look like a happy girl there, I'd say.
Oh yeah, I was. I was like a little kid. I was like, get a picture of Smokey.
Oh, yeah, right.
And also because I wasn't expecting him to be turning 75 at the time, I had just bought the T-shirt just to
Oh.
camp in because,
Oh, so
Smokey
but
Bear.
it was a
And so we
two-parter.
stopped. I was like, "Oh my god, it's his birthday. Stop the car."
Love it. What kind of what is that?
That is a mushroom.
I thought so, but I've never seen one like that.
So that is up in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and it had rained like heck. And so, one of the points I want to make is that don't ever let the rain or the snow flurries, anything knock you from
How
taking
about
a
it?
hike.
Very good.
Because when you're up there in the mountains and there's been a fresh rain, good God, the smells, the colors that come out are just bar none. You
That's great.
can't compare the vibrance, even in the trees, the color of them, the greens, it is awesome up there,
Great
especially
advice.
after a rain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was raining and it was cold, but we dealt with it. It was raining on and off during that entire hike.
What do we got here?
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Unfortunately, it's not my photo.
No.
I wish I would have taken that.
Well, that was mine. No, I'm just
I loved that.
It's interesting. Where did that come from?
And a
Well,
brief intermission.
I have to make a note of that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. I wanna know where that is.
Yeah.
I know. That
Well, you
looks
could have made up
amazing.
something. See how honest you are? I love that.
Those are I believe this is in Colorado Springs. That is the Manitou climb.
Okay.
So I think it's 2,500 stairs,
Oh,
and
Okay.
they're all like railroad tie style. So at a
Mm.
point it gets so steep where it's like you're climbing up the railroad ties.
man. Looks like a workout to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say it's as high as the top of one of the World Trade Center.
Whoa.
So
Oh, okay.
people do it in honor of the first responders that climbed all of those stairs up to the World Trade Center.
Wow.
And people do it every year, and so that's kind of an equivalent to how many stairs and how tall it is too.
That's
Wow.
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
Yeah.
it's quite the feat. It is, yeah,
No
it's
pun
not
intended.
hard. It is quite the feat.
Same?
Yeah, and those were Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Just beautiful wildflowers. I'm obsessed with the wildflowers out there. Just
Very cool.
the columbines, just I believe those are I think they're called something Indian.
That's a
They're
very cool
Indian.
photo, though.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
really
I
nice.
love to just take pictures of the wildflowers just in their natural beauty.
I
It's
think that
just
one is suitable for
phenomenal.
framing.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Still there, Juan? Oh, that was the last
Are
one.
we done?
Oh, he did tell me last one, and I'm just learning to read my stuff.
What?
Yeah. Just you had a question for Bianca before
I
we.
do. So, do you have advice for couples who might have a little trouble getting along on the trail or when they're outdoor adventuring? I mean, you guys have been through quite a bit, it sounds like.
Yes, we have. I think one of the main things is stay on trail, stay on the course. Don't stray from it. No matter what your significant other, if he says he knows what he's doing, if he says he knows the park like the back of his hand, don't go off trail.
Go with your gut, right? Is
Go
that
with
what
your gut, go
Yeah.
with your instinct. Be prepared. Be prepared for anything. Make sure that the both of you have everything that you need, your necessities for a comfortable adventure.
Mhm.
And there may be problems that arise, during the hike, things like that. And it's kind of like those are the opportunities where you think on your feet, you work together as a team, you resolve the situation. As far as getting along, I would say it's just, if you have that natural chemistry with your partner, everything should be smooth sailing. But like I said, when situations arise, it's good to, let out your frustrations, but keep a leveled head, especially when you're out there in the outdoors, you're out with Mother Nature. It's just best to keep a leveled head because then you're thinking clearly. So you can make decisions that are safe, are smart, and they're not irrational at the time where you're just kind of you're not thinking clearly. And it's always good to try to be the opposite, or not I shouldn't say the opposite, but like for example, if and I know this can be hard, especially because I'm the type of person where like I freak out, and Kyle sometimes he freaks out at the same time. But if you can be that bigger person and be that calm one, be that sensible one so that your partner, you
Very
can help
cool.
calm that person down because when you're both not calm, that just doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes
you
it's
want to
kind of
complement
like
each
you
other.
gotta yes, you gotta just kind of have a feel. When I'm freaking out, Kyle's like, okay, like I had to sacrifice my feelings right now and help her to calm down.
Oh,
If you
cool.
see
Yeah.
your partner is kind of freaking out, to be like, yeah, I'm freaking out on the inside too, but let me help my partner calm down so I can get him or her back to a good space and we can do this together type of thing.
It is
So
teamwork.
it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you gotta make sacrifices in ways and things like that. So
I think you said we sang. You were mad. Everybody was mad. And you're coming down the mountain and you start singing. Now, I was a musician. I don't know if I can call myself still a musician, but I was one once. And I would never even think to do that. In fact, usually when and our fighting thing was always in a canoe, and that seems to be problematic for some couples, being in a canoe. I don't know what that's like.
yeah.
But
Can't get away from each other.
well, there is that. There is that. But even in that whole thing, I would never have thought to sing because if I sang, it would probably be one of those songs like "Hair of the Dog" by Nazareth.
Nice.
Not
Here
very
in the
creative of
dark,
you.
right. Highway to
I know
hell.
that song
Like,
too.
we're
I know you know that
screwed. I remember we were singing Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen. We were just kind of like
song.
those
Oh,
like
nice.
just sing along songs just to
Was there any
just
kumbaya going on there?
there needed to be. I needed some kumbaya
I love
because
that.
oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
But you learn to look back at those moments and just appreciate them and realize, like that was bad, but we got out of it and that's all you can ask for really
Yeah.
because when you're out there and you're up in the mountains in the dark, that to me, that was one of the scariest experiences I've ever had. I'm from Chicago. I'm a city girl. I've done the camping and stuff, but being out like this Colorado out in, mountainous terrain, that's like for me, that is so real deal. And especially when you're talking about different factors like animals, you got your
yeah.
bears, you got your moose, you got your elk, you've got your wildcats, things like that. So it's like it's definitely a different playing field when versus Starved Rock State Park and the sun's going down, not a problem.
Mhm.
That's our home. But when you're out there in places like this, it's like it's no joke, and the situation could have been a lot worse, but we did some things to combat it, and we didn't know where we were going in the dark, and we did a lot of praying. So
Hey,
when all else fails,
that
you
always helps.
pray.
Bring in some good energy.
This is a yes
Yeah,
or
we
no.
were because oh man, there
Well-
were plenty of times when we've camped where I had to just start praying.
We're
We
running
were
down
up in those
on the last few minutes, but I have a quick
yeah,
question for you. This is a yes or no question. It's related to your experience and couples, really. Would you say that without the experiences that you just mentioned for having gone through as a couple may not have put you in a situation otherwise? Maybe there were no other kind of situations that would put you in a position where you really had to rely on one another, and it was
Yeah.
like it was just you two against, let's just say, the elements, Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
and even us against our minds
Right,
too.
right.
Because, yeah, okay, what was the worst that could have happened? God forbid, animals. I don't think we would have been attacked by an animal. Worst could have happened. We would have had to spend the night tentless out back up against the tree, huddled together
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
night. Um, and
Sure.
that would have been okay. But Kyle and I have had plenty of situations, worse situations than that. I had a longboarding accident. I'll be very quick with this. Down a very steep hill, I fell into rocks and I had about 10 stitches in my head. I broke both my wrists, so my wrists were hanging from here. It was
Wow.
a longboarding accident. And I could have died. I could have fractured my skull. I could have been paralyzed. And I wasn't. The worst that happened to me were my wrist had snapped and now I have plates and screws in them, and then my head. But it could have been a lot worse. And that was, I think, 6 or 7 months um, in our relationship. And he had to take care of me. He
Wow.
bathed me, spoon fed. I mean, I'm telling you everything. I couldn't brush my hair, I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't open any doors. I was completely handicapped with both my hands for months on end. So we've been through a lot. And just, even if it's not those freak accidents which nobody wishes for, test your relationship out on the trails,
Yeah.
get
Wow.
out there with your significant other. Obviously don't put yourself into risky situations. But you're still going to have that experience where, you're outside of a house, you're outside of your comfortable ways of living, and you're doing this, you're sharing this experience together. And so that, I think, builds relationships a lot, whether it's a good situation or it's a bad situation, just putting yourself out there and putting yourself in those situations and getting out there and doing it. That's what matters. And, your relationship will grow regardless.
That's very cool. I mean, that's awesome. And thank you for the story too. That was that was touching. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bianca, we'd like to thank you for being our guest here on the camping show. It was a pleasure having you here on the other side of the
I
fence.
know it
Thank
flies
you for
by
doing
when
that.
you're on the other side. I'm
Thank
chatty
you.
Cathy today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'd also like to thank each of our sponsors for bringing you tonight's show, Campground Views and Rutabaga Paddle Sports.
Be sure to tune in for next week's episode, 25th anniversary of the Welsh Open Canoe Symposium with special guest Ray Goodwin.
Until then, this is Jessie Meany reminding you to learn more, do more. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone, and congratulations, Bianca.
Congratulations.
See you next week.